All right, guys. So, again, this is going to be a quick kind of unedited video. So, I did receive um, an email this morning from the scientist. I think that's what I'm calling him, right? The scientist that I spoke to yesterday on the phone. And, I want to keep you guys in the loop because, especially if I'm getting a different vibe or something. I don't know. I'm kind of a little bit more confused now. So, as I mentioned in my video yesterday, and I'm going to be uploading this in real time, I'll just upload this without editing it. And that way you guys know. I've got like an eyelash in my eye. So, he emailed me and he basically was like, "Oh, I spoke to my colleagues, right? And they are, if you want to see them, they're kind of expensive. But one of them is like in Beverly Hills and the other one is like out of Florida or something. I don't know." And so I kind of sat there and I was like, and keep in mind when, um, I don't know if I did the video before or after. I did all of this scanning of blood work because I did actually find some of the blood work that he was asking me for. And he asked me for all this blood work and he said, if you don't, because I was like, I don't know if I have that. And he said, go get it done. Your primary care, it should be covered by insurance. Just tell them to do it. Don't ask them, just tell them and then get it to me. Like, he had this kind of sense of urgency almost. I gotta tell you, he was very attentive and very, asking me questions. And he's like, I have another call after this, but I just have another question to ask you. Like, he was really, um, like I said yesterday, he was really on it. And so I got all of this blood work. I mean, pages and pages. I would say probably like, I don't know, like 100 pages of blood work. I don't know. I scanned all of it. I organized it. I organized it by date and by, like where I had it done and all of this stuff. And I mean, it's a hassle. If you've ever had to do that kind of stuff, it's a hassle because I have to like scan it on, I have a scanner here. I have to put it on like a little thumb drive and then upload it to like my laptop. I don't know like how to do that a lot faster. That's just how I do it. So I went through all of this trouble, like organized it, labeled it, all of this. And he emails me this. I attached all of it to the email yesterday. And he had told me that he was going to talk to his colleagues that evening, blah, 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 and that he would get back to me. And he emailed me this morning. And I'm telling you, he does get back to you. He does get back to you and say, like, he follows up. He's like, so I spoke to such and such from Beverly Hills and such from out of Florida. And they are expensive, but, they can help you get like the gut under control. And I'm just sitting there like, I've done all of this. I've been through all of this. I know that my gut sucks and we've exhausted every, every avenue. But I was like, "Oh, thank you so much. I will look them up. I'm sure they have websites. That way I can see what kind of, work they do, what kind of protocols they use, blah, blah, blah." And I did look them up. I'm not, And there was no mention of the like book of blood work that I sent him. Blood work that he specifically requested that I actually did find in my file. I have a notebook where I organize all my blood work and stuff. I mean, he may still need to review it, right? I mean, I don't know if he even cares. Um, but I did tell you guys, and there's another video that it's probably going to go up after this, where I give more thoughts. I give an update on my opinion about stem cell clinics, um, and all of these therapies based on my experience thus far with exosomes. And I actually probably should have waited until this phone call to really give a good, like a good thorough examination. But I do talk about how money is sort of their priority. That's kind of what they're after. He did seem very, very sincere on the phone call. He seemed very sympathetic. he asked me, he's like, how old are you? And I was like, oh, I'm 38. And he goes, oh, that's way too young. He says, I'm so sorry. It's way too young for you to be dealing with this kind of stuff. Very sincere sounding. Now, my own doctor, the one that did this treatment, that, you know, they know each other somehow. She's not as sincere. She's very, I don't want to say fake. She's just not good with people. She does not know how to empathize. Like she's not good at empathizing. It just doesn't come natural to her. And so she comes across as very artificial. And to be honest, I don't care what my, you know, whether my doctor is sympathetic or not, as long as you do your job, as long as you know what you're doing. I could care less if you really care about my situation. Like, you know, do your job, and that's all I ask. That's what I'm paying you for. I'm not paying you to be my, you know, therapist, or to be my, you know, my mom or whatever. This guy, on the other hand, is kind of like the opposite. He came across as very sincere and very like, you know, he was like, oh, I got another call to be on, you know, I got to make this quick, but let me just ask you a few more questions, and let me just, you know, very, you know, I got to tell you guys, this is the vibe that I'm getting. I feel that men are much better at that kind of thing. And I've learned this through experience, that, and I think, you know, we can get into the evolution and all of that kind of stuff. But I think it's kind of an evolutionary thing. Men, especially when it comes to women, are very good at getting you to believe that, you know, I'm here for you, right? I'm here for you. I feel for you. And I mean, because, you know, that guys have adapted. Sorry, I'm like cleaning this table as I'm gathering my thoughts. I left a lot of garbage. Right now that I was talking about the photocopying, I left a lot of garbage all over the table. Staples and papers and stuff that I didn't clean up. That's how much paperwork I had to scan, or I scanned and sent to him, and for him to email me and be like, go talk to these ladies. I was just like, huh, that's weird. You asked for all this blood work and not a single mention. But like I said, he may be going over it, right? But I'm telling you, I think that, I mean, he came across as so authentic. And the guy that works for him, the guy that I had, by the way, he did tell me that he's not his boss. So I had the consult at the stem cell clinic in Cancun, and I told him, I said, yeah, you know, the reason the reason that you were emailed is because your employee, you know, I had a consult, and I asked just out of curiosity who you were, because this clinic came up in a Google search of you. I said, so it wasn't that I specifically requested to speak to you. This is what came up, and I just decided to do the consult because I was, you know, doing consults at the time. And he goes, oh, I'm not his boss. So he doesn't own that clinic. So he's not, I mean, swimming in money as I had expected. But he's the chief, I believe he's a chief scientific officer, and he said something about funders. So there are people that fund that clinic. And I'm thinking that a lot of these people that are featured on the Instagram account, maybe the people that are funding the clinic. By funders, I imagine it's people that have a stake in the clinic. And I believe I mentioned that in one of my other videos. I don't know if it's the upcoming video or previous videos that I had made about the stem cell clinics. I think I have a stem cell playlist. If I don't, I'm thinking if it's stem cells or stem cell clinic playlist. If I don't have one, I'm going to need to make one and put all these videos there. But he mentioned funders, and the vibe that I get from all these people that, you know, that are featured on the Instagram account is that these aren't patients. These aren't people that are coming in that are sick, because none of them have like serious medical issues. So I'm guessing these are the funders. These are the people that they need their money to keep the clinic running. And so he's probably just telling them like, hey, come in, sample the product so that you can see, you know, how it works. And you know, that way they either can put, you know, put their money, invest their money into this clinic. Um, that's the vibe that I get, because a lot of these people are, they're Americans, and they are people that have money. And they're people that have large followings on Instagram, which I mentioned that in another video. So, yeah, you know, he has to know how to talk to people. He has to know how to engage with people and kind of give this sympathetic, you know, vibe. And the other thing too was the him kind of playing. I don't know if he was playing dumb, but this sort of like, oh, how much did you pay? How much did you pay for the treatment? How old are you? Like this kind of like inquisitive. And I'm thinking to myself, the money is going to you. I'm assuming, you know, I'm guessing my doctor maybe gets a cut, but damn, like it's a lot of money. Even if you guys split it, you still get a solid cut, you know. So that, you know, I'm telling you, men have adapted, and I know I come across as like one of these kind of like crazy feminists, but guys do sort of have that um a knack for that. And you know, even though women are sort of characterized as being the more sympathetic or more maternal, I don't, I think they are, in a sense. Women tend to care more, but not like that. You know, for example, I have an urgent care doctor that, you know, she's very good, and she does her job well. um all of my doctors are female with the exception of one, and they don't have that. They're not sweet talkers. None of them are sweet talkers. And if they try to be sweet talkers, they're not good at it. But they kind of get the job done. They're just like, okay, let's look at the facts. And this guy, you know, he did ask me for you know, stuff. He asked me, you know, for blood work and what's going on, and it sounds like your gut is messed up and this, and it's like, I know all of this stuff, right? We all know this. We all have messed up guts. And so, but it was that very, you know, oh, you know, I'm just so sorry. And, you know, I was like, man, did this guy just hustle me? Did this guy just like, and listen, ladies, we love to be sweet talked, right? Because you saw my video yesterday. I was like, man, he was just so great and he was so good. We love it. We love a sweet talker. You know, we can't resist it. And I hate to say it, I've been a fool more than once. Um, but I kind of have never really seen it in a clinical setting. I do have one male doctor. I have my neurologist. One of my neurologists is a guy, and he's just like he's just like, all right, let's talk, let's get it done. And my every appointment with this guy is like 5 minutes long. So, um, I'm not, you know, used to seeing, and because I haven't had a male doctor in a long time, and I don't really like talking to male doctors. um, I kind of fell for it. I have to say I fell for it. But like I said, I don't know. I can't really come to any conclusion that he was being insincere. I mean, he sounded so sincere and so really nice. Like I got a little tinge of annoyance at the beginning of the phone call, and I sometimes get that vibe off of his emails. But I think that is the reason why he wanted to get on a phone call. You can't, it's very difficult to, in my opinion, well, you can fake a lot of things through text. I think text and emails are very, very ambiguous. I think he knows that his strength lies in his voice, you know, in the way he speaks and talk. And like I said, if you're getting funders for a clinic, if that's your job, which I think that's his job. I mean, obviously he oversees, you know, the science. He is a researcher and all of that, but it does seem that his job is to get funding for this clinic and to get people to sort of buy into the clinic. And in order to do that, you have to know how to talk, and you have to know how to you know, to speak to people. And I'm telling you, he was pretty good at it. You know, if he is a hustler, he's a good one. And his doctor, the guy that I had the consult with, is very similar. I mean, he speaks to you on the phone, has a kind of commanding presence. You know, they both do. They both have kind of like a deep voice. You know, they're male, and you know, even through email, it's just like, you know, answering every question. You know, long emails in answer to your question, just boom, 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 boom. And so, you know, yes, I mean, that's how it should be if you want to bring business somewhere. But at the same time, too, it's like, can I trust this guy? Because it seems like now he's throwing the ball to someone else, right? Now he's saying, there's these other doctors, my colleagues, yeah, they're expensive, but they might help you get your gut under control. And, you know, that to me, especially the fact that he didn't really acknowledge the blood work, he could have said, you know, I got your blood work, give me some time, I'll look it over, whatever. And again, because I don't know where the money went, if I mean, the money had to have gone to him or to the lab, some of it. But I don't know for sure, especially the way that he was the way that he said, how much did you pay for this, and that kind of thing. Again, he could be playing me, he could be not playing me. I'm not going to really know until I see my doctor in December. Um, so, you know, for the amount of money that I paid, he did a good job. He did a good job. He was very attentive. He came across as like, yeah, I'm listening, right? But remember, I paid money. If this is just an act, or if you're just kind of appeasing me, that's not good, because it's a lot of money. If for that much money, there need to be emails, there need to be, you need to go over that blood work. You know, you need to be in communication with my doctor, especially if both of you got paid, because there's no way that they both didn't get paid. I don't know what the split was, but there's no way that they both didn't get paid. And like I mentioned in my video yesterday, or I hope I mentioned in the video yesterday, he told me the dosage that I got in exosomes is probably the equivalent of 20 million stem cells, which is not a lot. He himself told me that's not a lot, which could be why they're not kicking in the way that I was hoping, or the way that I was expecting, or that they were expecting. Who knows? But when you tell me, you know, 20 million stem cells, I think I got a quote. Um, it was either 25 or 35 for about like $6,000. So I did not pay $6,000 for this treatment, let me tell you. I haven't given you the exact number, but just know it was more than that. So if I paid, you know, a lot more for the equivalent of 20 million stem cells, which is probably $6,000 in Mexico, then, you know, that's kind of weird. And for him to say that there was a vibe that him and my doctor are sort of playing the same game, right? They're playing stupid. They're passing the ball. Oh, you know, you know, that's not, I didn't say that. That's not what I said. Oh, he's the one, this is his protocol. I don't, you know, he's the one that developed this. We're doing it according to what his studies say, which he said he hasn't done any studies on exosomes. There's no standard dosage for that. So I did get a little bit of that vibe that they're both kind of going back and forth, throwing the ball to each other, and kind of, or pointing the finger to each other. And then he's passing the ball to other people and saying, okay, go and see them. And again, these are people, he said my colleagues, which to be honest, they're business partners, right? I'm going to refer people to you. You're going to refer people to me. One of these doctors here, she's out of Beverly Hills. She's actually a stem cell researcher, or she was a stem cell researcher, I guess, before she was an MD, and that's part of her field of research, just like him. And so I was like, okay, you know, they have that in common. So she may also have a stake in this clinic, or in his products that he's obviously selling here, even though he claims that he's not aware, right, of how they're being used. But again, you know, there is something in common there. And that's something that you got to watch out for when you talk to your doctors, and when they start referring you, when they start using products. Are they getting something out of it? Are they getting some kind of financial gain out of it? one of the big, and I'm, you know, I gotta end this video, but one of the big, um, what people would tell me a lot about my doctor, my immunologist, my Lyme literate physician, whatever you want to call her, when I first started going to her, one of the big deals about her was that she did long-term antibiotics, but she didn't get a cut of it. Most Lyme literate physicians do long-term antibiotics and they get a cut of it. That's part of the controversy and part of the problem, you know, that people that a lot of doctors see with long-term antibiotics is that these doctors are prescribing it, but they're also getting a cut of the money. And so a lot of people talked about my doctor with, you know, they spoke very highly of her because she didn't get a cut of it. She didn't take a cut of that money for the prescriptions that she was giving out for these long-term antibiotics. And that's why people said, you know, you can trust her because she's not making any money off of this. The only money she makes is what you pay for the consult and and the appointments, and I guess any supplements that you buy from her, anything that you get directly from her office. But the antibiotics and stuff, she doesn't get a cut. So she's not making money off of that. That's why you can trust her. So there's a lot of money exchanging hands. In this case, I'm not sure where my money went. I'm kind of puzzled, and that is kind of where I'm also having an issue with that, and the fact that he said that to me, that he was like, how much did you pay for this? And I'm just like, the money is yours, right? This is your lab, you know. So so yeah, I just wanted to throw this one up there. It's going to be unedited, so you know, I'm just going to toss it into the playlist, the exosomes playlist, because I want you guys to have every detail of this saga, because it's, like I said, it's a lot of money. And I am very I'm going to make another video about my cynicism. So I'll make another video about that, but I'm going to put this one up so you guys can have this info and do with it what you will. So all right, I'll see you guys in the next one.